And all greetings, this is Gilles Morcier. I wanted to come and say hello, wish you a good day. We are in this full moon in Leo, where we are a few hours away from this eclipse. I think it's about 5 hours from now. It will be this great big eclipse, very powerful. It's a super moon, and so this eclipse will, it's being in Leo, we want to be careful not to go into drama, but to allow ourselves to be creative and passionate and romantic. It is a very, very powerful full moon. It is important to understand we have no more time to hide from our shadows. From the shadows are no longer needed. It is really a time that will be of shifting, and all those do not let the old. The old is no longer necessary. The victory, the light has won now. It is completely over. This old programming. I'm going to return to that. I'm going to read very quickly some cards from the angels. So the situation is relaxing, resting. It's about learning to rest, sleeping more, relaxing more, taking the time to restore our physical body, to clear up our mind, to clean up our emotion, to ask for abundance, to ask to be free from all the old programming. And for that, resting, maybe sleeping, is very good because it allows us to move into a higher planes. And it's when we sleep, we don't have this rational mind. So it is important. To if you can, to allow yourself to sleep more, to relax more, to take more time to to regenerate your physical body. What comes around the situation is complementarity, which means it's we are all we all have our piece of a puzzle, and we are looking for the other pieces that makes our life works. We all need each other. We are complementing each other. What we see before us is a great luck. Luck is when God wants to remain anonymous. We call that luck. It is good fortune. So to expect good fortune, expect miracles, expect in the unexpected. Be ready to receive it as well. Just embrace it in the energetic level. For we already have insights. We already have a sense of what is coming. We may not know all, but what we sense, what we know, what has been revealed through our dream and meditation and introspection will unfold in many sense. Yet we want to let go of all the false vision that may still try to be lingering into the program. What's in the subconscious in the past that's been integrated is temperance. It's becoming master of ourselves. We understand what we need to do. We understand that we want the light part of ourselves to dominate over the darker aspect of ourselves. Even though we still have this part of ignorance within ourselves, we cannot let this ignorance become dominant. And to forgive ourselves if that ever happened. For some time, it's okay to go off the rail, to go we're not perfect, we're not expected to be perfect. We are conditioned by this physical body, although our soul. But we want to strive to perfect ourselves and move towards that perfection, to this alignment with our I am presence, with our soul, with our source, with our creator. The will of God is primal. That's really, once we achieve that, we find freedom, we find truth, we find beauty, we find goodness on whatever level. And then it'll come to the assess. The cheminement is an assess, is like climbing a step. So we want to move into ever increasing octaves of love and light. What is coming in the near future is clairvoyance, a great deal of insight, a great deal of light, a great deal of understanding what's going on beyond the veil, to retrieve our Akashic memory, to know who we are, to read frequency, to see what's going on, to control our own frequency, to be able to raise our frequency, yet to maintain it on a certain level where we are comfortable. What we are, the strengths we have in this situation is action. We are able to move into action. Sometimes action is about non-action. It's about being ready to move into whenever the door opens. For we do not want to move faster than the music. nor we want to move slower than the music. There is a great symphony of energy that is being orchestrated from on high, and we want to be a human instrument. We want to tune in our instrument. Our heart needs to be tuned into the frequency of love and light, so that we can move with each step of the way. Each step is so we can play our tune, sing our song, the soul songs, the song of love that we came here to incarnate as And so we want to play with this tune and to align ourselves so that we can for here it's like I feel like I'm sometimes I'm like my mission is to be the conductor to synchronize all the other because many as before we were like all singing our song, but individually we were not like synchronized. But once we get into this collective understanding of tuning into that soul unity consciousness, our energy becomes so much more powerful. We become a symphony rather than each person playing his own tune. And sometimes the tunes are conflicting. It's part of the pulse. Comes from the heart. So it is all about moving into action. Also, there's all kinds of actions that will be unfolding. For action, things can change from one breath to another. It's like from one day to the next, everything can change. What comes to us around us in the environment that surrounds us is love. Love is the most beautiful force in the universe. It is the truth. There is no higher truth than love. Love is inclusive. Love is accepting. Love is forgiving. Love is all. There is nothing more that we need to. And love has been everywhere. Love is your nature. Love is my nature. Love is the sense. Is the reason why we incarnate, to discover love, to choose love. And so we want to continue to cultivate that connection to love. What we see in our inner emotions, our hopes and fears, is elevation. We are our creator, our God, our God source, our I am presence. We elevate us. It elevates us every time we are ready to be elevated. We are being elevated, and the outcome will be family. First, we're going to reconnect to our soul and soul family. But we will come to realize we are all one family here on this earth, and we'll have to reconnect to this understanding of family. But there is people that we have this deep connection, a deeper connection. Then we don't have this deep connection yet with, or even with everybody. There is certain people that will be attracting into our life that will complement us in a great sense from a much deeper level. The deeper a feeling is being felt, the more powerful, the more real it is as well. This is how we need to learn to read frequencies. Understand the earth will be restored, and so will we. We're going to be restored. For we came through 12,500 years of the Kali Yuga, the age of darkness. It was a time where all the corruption, the evil was given as much power as the light. For it was an age of darkness, where even more power than the light. But now it is over. So understand this. Now we moved into the age of light. The victory of the light has been declared. Past the 2012, we were given a little bit more time. Even the dark aspects of life was given a little bit more time to see if they can return to the light. For we are moving into this period of wisdom that will be, but it's also the end of the period of grace. This eclipse will probably mark a very, very shifting energy, but for the cosmic law will be restored. All those who are fighting that will be severely afflicted by this cosmic law. For the whole universe works in the unity consciousness of the one, of the love that is God. But on the earth, this planet being in quarantine, the law was suspended for a time, but now it is returning, and so the 3 and 4D shadow matrix is collapsing as the light of the fifth dimension is penetrating. For we need to create a solid base for all the light workers. We are the ground crew, and so we need to create this base where people are strongly, solidly anchored into their light and confident to express this light, because as the pyramid of control, what we call the dark pyramid of control, is going to collapse. But the base has to be solid enough to be replaced by something. There has to be enough personnel on the ground to take the place, to fulfill their mission. So do not hide your light, and no more time to hide your light. There is from others, even if they don't like it, you will be happy that you have stood by your principle, you have stood by your light, and there is no more time for pain and sorrow. Everything is happening, everything is unfolding now. And so, and like I said, it's okay sometimes to if you're not always, sometimes you don't feel like you are staying within the light, you are stepping out, or you're falling down or something. Do not judge yourself, forgive yourself, let go, laugh about it. The more you can relax and ease up on about those things that you're not achieved, that perfection that you seek, the more you will be able to return to a place of balance and harmony. For the universe knows that we are not perfect. It knows all our flaws and for we all have weaknesses and we all have strengths. We want to diminish our weakness and augment our strengths each and every day. understand also understanding that love is ready to invade us. And I feel this great sense of opening from within my heart. That is so much more love. I've always cultivated that love for what, 30 years. I've been in the spiritual ascension path, but now the feeling of that which is opening is grandiose. So it is about love has always been there, ready to invade our life, to fuse within ourselves. And so also wanted to speak about the gods of mythology. Some gods like the Anunnakis or the Greek gods or the Nordic gods or the Egyptian gods. There's all kinds of gods that were in mythologies, but in a sense they were not gods. It's just the planet has been in quarantine. So part of those were negative and some of them were positive, like they were self-serving agenda, like the Anunnakis, or others were came into interaction with the human race, but they were positive. They brought some lot of positive, like the Greek gods or the Egyptian gods or the Nordic gods. They were positive influence on humankind, but they were not gods. They were at very advanced extraterrestrial, while during the quarantine they were authorized to interact with the human consciousness and to say that they were gods. But in essence, now that the Christ has come and liberated the frequency, all those beings they all have ascended, of course, but they're all here as teachers, as guide. They're all part of the one. They're all working with the one, like the angels, the archangels, the Elohim, the ascended masters. They're working within this frequency of assistance. So all those beings will come back into the play. As you call them, they can assist you in regaining some of your power, for they come from much higher cycles than we do. They already knew themselves as eternal, immortal beings. So they come from a higher cycle, so they're all assistants, and even the dark forces they're no longer able to oppose the light. So do not fight them, just love them, and you'll see all their power will dissolve, and I will give them an opportunity to help them to let go of whatever. So do not fight the darkness, just love it, send love and light, and this is the greatest, because the greatest way to assist and protect yourself in the same time. So I wanted to say, I was speaking about drinking a lot of lemon for the kidneys is good, but it's also the liver. For every organ needs to be healed in order to be tuned to a higher frequency. There is 5 energies of the 5 major organs needs to be reassembled at the center to get those magic power. I'm working with an entity called Ebe. She's a goddess from the Olympia, and in many sense she's assisting me in regenerating each and every one of my organs. So because this nectar, this ambrosia, needs to penetrate every cell, every aspect of our life, so that we can return to complete health in the physical. We need to cleanse our mental body, our emotional body. We need to be financially abundant. We need to be full of creativity, inspiration, to be open to love, and to be open to new exploration of all kinds of new things. So it is important to know that it is the time. It is the time that we have a hope for, the time that we've been waiting for. The reason why we came here on this planet is coming now. We'll soon find that out. Also wanted to say, in order to receive the messages from spirit, first to understand that God speaks to every being every day. Every human being receives information from God, but we do not know how to decipher between the ego, the false self, and I am presence, the true self. And so the voice of God is usually, it's always positive, and it's a whisper. It doesn't yell. And it's the same thing with our guides. The more our consciousness is open, the more we are able to receive the thoughts that are being whispered in our mind. It can be at first we want to see to connect with them through synchronicity, to see the sign, but when we receive very kind thoughts, good feeling, clear vision, inspiration, feelings of joy, crisp energy, brilliant ideas, all of those happy thoughts, all of those are inspired by spirit. For spirit is here to assist us. We want to reconnect to our teams of guides and angels, so that we can feel strong and within our power. For they are part of our higher self. Our higher self is our soul, which is a divine being of light, and we were created in group, in family, by called a soul family, a monad. He was a philosopher named Leibniz who first revealed that word in 17th century. He was the universal philosopher, the advocates of God. He was calling himself. He invented the binary system. He was very, very advanced, ahead of his time, let's say. And he was speaking about this monad. This monad is a soul group that we were created. God doesn't create like one being like that alone. Creates a family of being, and then from this family of being I belong to a family of my soul family were only 5 of us, so, but I think I may be the only one who's incarnated on the planet. My true self has always remained up there. It is just an extension of that true self. I feel very blessed and lucky to be able to have recreated this connection, this path of communication between my soul and spirit, and to have traversed the 7th circle of consciousness that allows me to communicate, or my I am presence to communicate with me in a very direct way. And I'm moving closer to this fusion. So yeah, this is in essence. I wanted to also to speak that, to say that the world is going to be shaken with this. The outside world, the world of politics and economy, is going to be shaken up. So do not be surprised if that happens. I would recommend, if you have money invested in financial, all those financial banking systems, to invest it in solid assets like gold, platinum, diamonds, art, land, real estate, something that's great. Or you can invest it in companies that you know are ethical. But anything that's not that's unethical, maybe all those things. There's going to be a reevaluation in the monetary system, and a lot of people will lose a lot of money because their money is invested in the shadow economy, which is all the financial derivatives and all kinds of all those things that the bankers have invented. I'm not criticizing. I'm just saying. We're getting closer to this point where it's going to be shifting. Everything's going to be shifting. So it's good to not all the banks. We need the banks, and there are some very honest bankers and honest bank. I'm just saying the whole the central banks have created this illusionary system so they could control the world, and now the whole thing is going to crumble down, and so we're going to move into a system that will work for everybody. Also, I wanted to salute the courage of all people that are engaged in politics. As a Pythagorean and a Platonician, I do believe that first that the art is difficult. The criticism is always easy, but the art is difficult. And as a Platonician, I know that politics, or even Pythagorean, that of all the arts, politics is the most difficult of all arts. So it is very courageous to engage yourself. For all those who have had the courage of engaging themselves in the service of their community, is very, very courageous. So no matter what their beliefs are, of course, if somebody is a tyrant, as a Platonician, we want to watch out for putting tyrants in power, because it will create tyranny for everybody. So we want to be to find somebody like somebody who's like noble, a king, that is a philosopher who understands the needs of everybody, so we can move into this inclusive reality for everybody. But I also wanted to say that also it is some heads of states will have the really bad role in this shifting transition, because unless they've been really straightforward, they've been really honest and serving their own people, all those that have been a little, I'm not criticizing, but those who have not been all that forthcoming will have a really bad role, and it will be very difficult for them in those coming times. Understanding here for the politicians, usually there's some politicians that are very straightforward. They're going to tell everything comes from them, and they're straightforward. But a lot of politicians are just when I come here, for instance, I make my speeches, I make a few notes, and I speak from my heart. I go and say spontaneously, but that's not the case in politicians. Usually it's somebody else. Some of them, somebody else wrote what they're gonna say, and then somebody else correct it, and then they have training with some professional in communication on how they're gonna, and then they have those teleprompters, and so it is something that's very, very calculated. There is very little space for spontaneity and openness, and it's not even their own thought. It's somebody that's creating those discourse for themselves. So how can you be asked to implement something that's not even you that's been saying that? It's somebody that's been feeding you those words and those ideas. So for me, it's an old philosophical problem between the philosopher and the sophist. Already at the time of Plato, there was already this debate of those who are able to use their verbiage to manipulate. For that's something very popular in society. The art of using the language to manipulate everybody to believe what you want them to believe, and then the philosophers that do not try to manipulate. They try to open the mind of everybody so we can discover something together that is superior, so that we can implement a new paradigm. So the shift is now. The shift is now. There is no more hiding. It's like it is important to stick to the truth. and to understand that beyond the beliefs there is a truth, that this truth reveals itself through our study. When we study religion, philosophy, any kind of study that we do, then it can also come through meditations, it can come through dreams, it can come through vision, it can come through initiation, it can come through intuition. And so it is important to stay tuned to the heart and to listen, to follow that as much as possible. I realize I've been painting for 30 years. It's been 30 years that I've been painting. So it is. I'm looking forward to create new, completely new work. I feel there is a great deal of change inside of me. There's going to be a great deal of opening inside, but I'm also going to shed my skin and change all my physical outer life. I'm going to move. The move is really close now, and I'm going to move into a studio. I'm going to create very different kind of art. For those I'm working on now, I'm really not so happy with the aesthetic of it, so I'm gonna have to find ways to shift them back into something that is prettier, because art doesn't really have to be pretty, but it has to be strong enough so that we want to interact with it for a very long time. And I believe those paintings were, as the more the time will pass, those spiritual paintings will become more and more important. They will take more and more, because in 100 years, 200 years, 1,000 years, there will still be mysteries that needs to be unfolded from that. When a lot of things that belong to the world of art, that's pure just decoration. It will eventually, it's just nice decoration, but it doesn't necessarily will. So there is a new age, a new renaissance that is happening for a new form of art that will reveal new ideas. And so as artists, we have to be on the forefront of consciousness. Well, I hope this message was interesting for you. I'm going to pull a few for cards. The highest wisdom for us today is Asia. It's finding the pure equilibrium, the pure balance, the way of righteousness, the truth. For the Buddha didn't have much of a religion. He didn't find God. We have to connect to God. But this philosophy was very wise. For he could this truthfulness led him to this freedom. What we need to understand is anger and nourishment. It's about being master of our senses, also not to let our senses dominate ourselves. To be, sometimes we need, fast is really good to learn, to educate our senses to do that. And so, we want to nourish ourselves with healthy food, healthy product. We want to nourish ourselves with healthy energy. For everything that comes into our body, whether it is images, sounds, drink, liquids or solids, everything has an impact, and everything that comes out of us has also an impact. So we want to control the fluid of what is coming in. Sometimes we have no choice. We have to allow ourselves sometimes we have to protect ourselves. Like this morning at 9 o'clock in the morning, I was wakened by those people who are cutting trees with machines in this garden I have here. They were like, and for 2 hours. So it's like, waking up with that when you're hypersensitive. That's why I rejoice in the fact that we'll soon be able to live into a house where I'll be a little bit more protected from all this societal noise. But so we want to nourish ourselves as much as possible with healthy water, clean water, to healthy food as much as possible. There is no judgment in relationship to what we choose to eat, but to let go of processed and chemical food as much as possible. To negotiate with our senses, to slowly but surely to integrate a more healthy lifestyle. I'm just giving you my insight into those things. After that, we are all free to do whatever we want. That is the God-given gift here. What we need to do is Egypt. It's about tuning into this power of magic, of the Great Pyramid, of the eternal understanding of the self, to return to connect to the Akash, to connect to the mysteries of life. For the Egypt, there will be great mysteries that will be revealed in relationship to this great pyramid that we do not know yet. And its architects, Thoth, the master of wisdom. And the outcome will be the mother. We'll be reconnecting to our mother earth, to the mother of the universe, to the nurturing aspect of life. I know my physical mother, that I really loved. We had a really wonderful relationship. I had a wonderful life also because of her. She was a very creative spirit. It's been, before she passed away, but she's very present right now in my life. For a while, she was a very cosmic person also. And for a while, after she passed away, I know she was like traveling in the galaxy, on the other side of the galaxy, checking things out and everything. But now I know she's returned here, and she's like, she's very, very present within my life. So it is kind of nice to feel that. For all the people that have departed are still here. And so we will find them again. It's just it is us that are disconnected, for they know once we let go of that physical, this critical mind, our physical reality, we reconnect to that which is the truth of eternal life, and that's not negotiable. It is what is eternal is eternal. Huh? And we're created in the image of God as eternal, immortal beings. So it is important to know that as we realize that we can develop this immortal consciousness, and then we are able to reconnect to those parts of ourselves. I hope this message was interesting for you. I'm going to sing a song. It was just a song that speaks about joy. It's a funny song. It goes like this. Jeremiah was a bullfrog. He was a good friend of mine. I never understood a single word he said, but I helped him drink his wine, and he always had some mighty fine wine, singing joy across the world. All the boys and girls, joy to the fishes and the deep blue sea, joy to you and me. If I were the king of the world, tell you what I'll do. I'll throw away the cars and the bars and the wars, and I'll make sweet love to you, singing joy across the world. All the boys and girls, joy to the fishes and the deep blue sea, joy to you and me. You know I love the ladies, I love to have my fun. I'm a high night flyer and a rainbow rider and a straight shooter son of a gun. I said a straight shooting son of a gun, singing joy across the world. All the boys and girls, joy to the fishes and the deep blue sea, joy to you and me. So let us be in joy and be ready. This eclipse is coming in a few hours. Do not go into the drama. Whatever comes up, just let it go. Forgive yourself. Let it go and be ready for these miracles that life will bring. After that, there's going to be a great deal of unfoldment that will be happening. And so I thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting if you care. And so if you like those videos, there's going to be a great deal of change in my life also, and also in the content of those videos. I'm happy I've been able to do all those videos while I was here in this position, but with the new times there will be I will have new responsibility, and so I will have to shift a little bit my communication. Yet always I will continue to communicate on love and light, of course, and wisdom, what I know to be wisdom. Thank you very much. Namaste.